Roy, obviously big fight Saturday night. Cheick Kongo said this was originally almost proposed like a gatekeeper fight, and he said, no, we're not gatekeepers. We're legitimate contenders at 205 pounds plus.
Yeah, if you're a gatekeeper, I'm a gatekeeper. I'm actually confused because I think there's like 30 heavyweights, so I think they're all gatekeepers at one time or another. I think as long as you're winning in the heavyweight division, I think you're okay. Even if you're not, I know you can definitely. I think it's all about timing and who you can fight. I mean, with us heavyweights, anybody can knock out. Look at, Junior knocked out Kane in less than a minute, and then Kane had to take 25 minutes the next time, and I guess make it up for the fans for the first time that they didn't, go longer than the first, for the whole minute.
And I agree with the assessment. I think you guys are so far away from that. But at the same time, a victory on Saturday night is actually big for both of your careers. Where does this put you, though, in the division? Because there's so much fluctuation going on right now.
I think in the heavyweight division, anybody, pretty much you can win and, you could get that next title shot. They're talking about Mark Hunt having the next title shot. So I think Mark's rattled off like 4 wins. He could be the next gatekeeper. It's one of those things. If Mark Hunt's in the title hunt, then me and Cheick Kongo are definitely in the title hunt.
You look at a matchup with Cheick Kongo, obviously known as a striker from France. He likes to bang. He likes to use his reach. And I've been professing that, Roy will fight anyone standing up. But I also think Roy potentially could take this fight down to the ground because of your black belt with jiu-jitsu with Renzo. In a fight like this, would you take a guy like that down, or do you say, you know what, no, I could knock him out, no problem?
You know what? I think it's, as the evolution of MMA, I think it's more about like kind of what he gives you. If he's gonna, run from me the whole time, and I got to try to track him down, and then I'm just gonna probably use my reach and try to hit him in his face and knock him out. But if he wants to, try to play the grappling game, then probably take him down.
I want to talk about the sacrifice that you guys have to make to become professional mixed martial artists. You got a 5-month-old right now. You actually brought him on this trip, which is fantastic. But, Michael Bisping has his son's 12-year birthday today, I think it is. Talk about the sacrifices mixed martial artists have to make, especially during a training camp, sometimes to avoid the family and stuff like that.
You know what? I put my family first before fighting. So you definitely have to put sacrifices, but there's some things that I won't sacrifice. But I'm not going to put my career in front of my family. My career is part of my family, but if I gotta pick one, I'm gonna pick my family because they'll be there until I'm like 70 or 80 years old. This fight thing probably lasts until, we'll use Randy, up until I'm 50, so I got at least another 13, 14 more years, but 80, I got another 45.
Then that takes me back to a conversation your wife had, yourself, and myself in Japan. If you're going to be competing for 13 years, will I see a flying armbar in the octagon one day?
Probably, because it'll probably be one of those weird things like how in jiu-jitsu there's trends like, oh, the guillotine came back. It's like for 2 years, like everybody finishes guillotines, and then next thing they're finishing with like the twister or something. There's always a fad when it comes like, oh, I just learned this new move. It's kind of like the Darce or the Bravo choke or whatever, and they're like, oh, it's the Darce. Oh my gosh, everybody's finishing with the Darce. Versus going, hey, I just learned this cool move, but I'm going to probably bring the flying armbar back, because I think back in the early 2000s, I think everybody was, if you were a little guy, you were finishing with the flying armbars.
Yeah, especially in Japan. But let me ask you this thing. You mentioned something recently about tournaments, a tournament format in mixed martial arts, which is obviously fantastic. I think when you mentioned tournament to Dana, he thinks the one-night tournament. Trying to explain to him that, no, over a certain period of events. Can you explain your theory about tournaments in MMA?
I did. We do it all the time. I did it in the Ultimate Fighter. It's a tournament format. The best man always wins. Pride. I mean, the thing is, it's not a foreign. I don't understand why it's a foreign concept in the UFC. I think the UFC started with the tournament format, so I think that's what got everybody. How did Royce Gracie, win it 3 times?
3.
In a tournament. It's just one of those things that I think. You can always, it's just, I think it all depends on how the bracket's set up, but usually everybody just loves the tournament. They love the Cinderella story, love the Rocky story. That's why we have March Madness. We got NBA playoffs right now, and everybody just loves the chance that, everybody has a chance. And it's not about about this timing thing or who's available. it's set up. A tournament's set up for, you know, the next person to go forward.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
There you have it, Roy Nelson taking on Cheick Kongo, and if he pulls off that flying armbar between Saturday night and the next 13 years, you heard it here first.